Welcome to this explainer. We are diving into a situation today that pretty much every parent has faced at least once. You set up a brand new reward system, it works beautifully, and your kid learns this fantastic new habit. But what exactly happens when you actually want to stop handing out those prizes? Well, we are going to set the stage for how you can successfully phase out child reward systems without experiencing that sudden, totally overwhelming behavioral crash.
So picture this incredibly relatable morning trap. For 3 solid weeks, your child earned a sticker every single time they finished their morning routine without you having to nag them. 10 stickers meant they got to pick Friday's family movie. And guess what? The chart worked. Shoes were magically appearing by the door, teeth were brushed, the backpack was actually packed. Naturally, you figured the habit was fully learned, so you just took the chart down on Monday. But by Tuesday, your kid is arguing, moving at a snail's pace, demanding to know where the stickers went, and insisting on the movie anyway. Honestly, it can feel like the reward system created a worse problem than the one you started with.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at what happens when rewards suddenly stop, the science of pushback, common fading mistakes, building the bridge plan, your 7-day transition plan, and knowing when to get help.
Section 1. When rewards suddenly stop.
The absolute first thing to know here is that a difficult reaction after a reward ends does not mean your child is spoiled or trying to manipulate you. The core mistake we often make is treating the transition like an on-off switch instead of a teaching process. Think about it. When a child learns a simple pattern of do a task, get a prize, and that suddenly stops, they're going to jump right back to whatever fastest behavior worked before the chart even existed. We're talking arguing, delaying, flat-out refusing. But with a planned transition, we actually strengthen cues, make expectations predictable, and connect the behavior to natural results. Our goal isn't to trick a child into working for nothing, right? It's to help that nice, calm routine survive when the special payment isn't needed anymore.
Section 2. The science of pushback. So why exactly does behavior sometimes get worse before it gets better?
Behavioral science reveals this really interesting phenomenon called an extinction burst. Basically, when an old request stops producing the expected result, a child might just try doing it more strongly. If you take away the reward, they might ask again, ask louder, add some tears, or try negotiating. It's not malicious. It is simply a temporary increase in an older behavior because the previous payoff abruptly stopped.
Another totally fascinating pattern from the research is called resurgence. Imagine that whining used to help your child escape their chores. Then, you taught them to politely ask for a short break. And that polite request was rewarded every single time. But if those breaks suddenly become unavailable or way harder to earn, that old whining behavior, it might just suddenly reappear. Again, they aren't making a calculated decision to manipulate you. It's just an older response returning because the newer, acceptable one stopped working.
Now here is a really crucial distinction. Clinical settings do not equal everyday family life. A lot of the research on these behaviors actually comes from intensive programs focusing on severe behaviors. In a normal home routine, pushback is possible for sure, but it is definitely not guaranteed. So you shouldn't turn this into a prediction that every little protest in your kitchen is going to escalate into something extreme. A disappointed child might simply ask, "Hey, why did the stickers stop?" Please don't label your kids as manipulative during normal home routines.
Section 3. Common fading mistakes. Let's look at some of those well-intentioned missteps we've probably all made. I want to warmly and completely, without any shaming, walk through these 5 common traps. Things like announcing the end with no warning, just taking the chart off the fridge on a Monday morning, or removing both the reward and the helpful checklist all at once. Another one is making one giant cut, like jumping from a reward after every single homework problem straight to one at the end of the week. Or, and this is a big one, changing rules during a rushed morning protest. It is completely understandable why we do it in the moment, but it accidentally teaches the child that louder protests work to get the deal back. And finally, taking away the reward but not teaching an acceptable alternative behavior. Let's look at what this actually means in practice. The wrong approach is that sudden giant cut where you say, "No more stickers, you should know how to get ready by now." When the child inevitably delays, the parent might end up repeating commands and offering a bigger weekend prize out of sheer desperation. But the better approach? Gradual schedule thinning. You might say you'll earn a sticker every other morning, but the picture list stays. See the difference? The expectation is clear, the fading is super gradual, and that really helpful structure remains intact.
Section 4. Building the bridge plan.
Now, what's really interesting about this next framework is how it helps build a literal bridge to ordinary life. It's an acronym. It starts with B. Be clear before the change. Let them know exactly what's changing and what's staying the same. Then R is replace the special payoff with a routine cue, a choice, or a natural consequence. For I, we increase requirements gradually. We're talking about adding just one extra step or delay, not a giant leap. D means decide your response to protests beforehand. Plan out one calm sentence so you don't find yourself negotiating a new deal when things get loud. G allows you to give the child a voice in the process, like maybe letting them choose the order of their tasks. And finally, E. Evaluate each step. If the behavior breaks down, just pause and revise rather than trying to blindly push forward.
Section 5. Your 7-day transition plan. Let's put that bridge plan on a calendar.
This is a highly practical day-by-day roadmap that you can literally start using immediately. For day 1, write down the exact observable behavior. We want to move from vague goals like be good to highly specific ones like put clothes in the hamper. On day 2, identify any hidden supports your chart might have been providing, things like attention or clarity, and find a healthier way to keep that going. Day 3 is all about briefly explaining the transition to your child, setting you up for day 4, which is when you make your very first small reduction. By day 5, you're practicing replacement behaviors together when everyone is calm and relaxed. Day 6 is for calm observation, so no mid-protest rule changes. Finally, on day 7, you decide your next step. Always remember, progress isn't a race here. You might advance, you might hold steady, or you might even move back a step, and that is totally fine.
Consider using this incredibly powerful phrase with your kids. The checklist stays even though the prizes are getting smaller. It beautifully reassures your child that the helpful structure, the very thing showing them how to succeed, remains right there on the wall even as the external payment goes down.
And here is another fantastic script straight from the source material. You asked for a break calmly. The break will start after this one step. This really highlights how to actively reinforce an acceptable replacement response. We aren't just ignoring bad behavior. We are actively catching and rewarding the good, calm communication that we want to see instead.
Section 6. Knowing when to get help.
Okay, let's talk about safety, because these are the clear signs indicating when you absolutely should pause your own efforts and seek individualized help. If removing a reward is followed by serious aggression, self-injury, running away, dangerous food restriction, or severe sleep loss, please stop what you're doing. Also seek help if this reward system is part of a broader treatment for things like toileting, feeding, medication compliance, or severe challenging behavior.
Which brings us to a really crucial safety rule. Never, ever use do-it-yourself extinction or planned ignoring for dangerous behaviors. If you are seeing severe safety concerns, you need a qualified behavior analyst, psychologist, or pediatric professional. And please keep in mind that children with ADHD, autism, language delays, or anxiety might just require longer-lasting external supports. That is perfectly okay. You also have to adapt this to their age and development. Young children usually need shorter delays, really clear picture charts, and close adult support. Teens, on the other hand, need a respectful explanation and a genuine voice in how their routines and responsibilities are organized. True independence means using the least intrusive support that allows your child to succeed. It doesn't mean forcing every child to perform without any help at all.
Which brings us to our final thought. Rewards aren't automatically harmful, and ending them isn't automatically healthy unless you actually have a plan. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. What is your exit plan for one reward today? I highly encourage you to choose just one current reward system in your house right now and write its exit plan using the bridge method we talked about. Go build that bridge between special reinforcement and ordinary family life. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.